Welcome everyone to Everyday Passions, the show where my guests share one of their passions and how they've used that passion to influence or impact the lives of others. My special guest today is Laura Gray. Welcome, Laura. I'm so excited to have you here today.
Hi, Yvonne. Thanks for having me, and it's so nice to meet you. I know you and I have traded emails and messages on LinkedIn, so I really enjoy being able to converse with you today.
So do I. Thank you for being here. So I am Yvonne Jones, the Client Relations Specialist, and I work with leaders and decision makers who want to grow their business use with a focus on building profitable client relationships. And my love clients are the women 50 and wiser who I help to combine their knowledge and experience with their passion to grow their business with courage and confidence. Welcome to our viewers and listeners today. We thank and appreciate you for joining us. So Laura, I am excited to hear what is one thing that you're especially passionate about?
Well, I would say, and I would assume and hope that most people who know me would say the one thing I am very, very passionate about is working with children and helping them, lifting them I have a self-esteem program for children that I started in 2015 called iPride. So any opportunity or invitation I get to work with children or coach them. I've been a youth coach in athletics in the past, and I just think it's really, really important to lift them, lift their spirits, and give them tools so they can, effectively cope with what's going on in the world and the adult world around them. So I would have to say working with children, but actually, lifting people in general and providing solutions where I can.
Yeah, I hear that. And you say lifting people in general, but I gather focus on children, and that is so needed because you said something a moment ago about helping them to deal with the adult situations around them.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think sometimes we forget that children are not really equipped to deal with what the challenges are and the challenges that come up in life. So I would say that what you're doing for them, it's something that is really, really needed and appreciated, I would imagine. So tell me, Laura, was there an event or something that triggered that particular awareness that you needed to go in the direction of focusing on helping children to cope with the challenges of life?
Yeah, for sure. I think, and also to kind of tag along with what you were saying, I think there's so much truth to the term childlike. I mean, when somebody is childlike, it's they're innocent, they're naive, and they're still developing, and they're curious. So that's going on all around us, whether we realize it or not. The children are a witness to what is going on in their homes or in the world. And that being said, in my life as a very young child, I went through some severe trauma for a number of years, and I didn't tell anyone actually until I was 32 years old. I found the strength and the courage to speak my truth and to share what had happened to me. And, the more I shared that information and I heard, I believe you, which was crucial. And the second one that I would hear from some people is, how can I help you? And those words to me are kind of, the mantra that I use in iPride when it comes to working with the children, because my focus isn't just specifically children that have been abused. It's just to work with kids overall. And, if I can look at them and say, how can I help you? How can I help you today? How can I provide tools, whether it's basic breathing techniques for a 6-year-old, some mindfulness, some creative coloring that we can do in the forms of, just freedom of thought, freedom of expression. And I find that it's actually a safe place. It's a creative safe place and a reset for kids just to be kids. And I am so appreciative of, being in that moment with them and being able to be a kid again myself. I want to circle back to when I said, I'm passionate about helping them and lifting them because in my situation, I was between the ages of 3 and 6 years old and no one helped me. Now, that being said, nobody knew, but I didn't know that in my little mind. All I knew was that I was having trauma and no one was helping me. And I think that's why that's kind of propelled me into I'm going to be that person that's just going to step up and step in and help some kids. And that's really what I have made my life's work at this point.
Mm. You said something, two phrases that are so very important for children to hear, especially children who have gone through, who have experienced some kind of trauma. And it is, I believe you.
Oh, yeah.
Now, with your experience of working with children, what have you found is generally a challenge in terms of what the children may express as far as adults being willing to believe them if they have experienced any particular trauma? Do you find that in general they're met with some kind of resistance or disbelief that maybe it's in their imagination, maybe it's not real?
That's a great question, but I will say I don't encounter that in my program because I go in there to do some workshops on creative writing and breathing, meditation, mindfulness, affirmations, and teaching them how to live in their moment, how to calm themselves by themselves. I honestly am not qualified to deal with any specific trauma that they may have, but in general, just giving them some nice life skills because whether it's the pandemic or their parents fighting or their big brother bullying them about something, they absorb a lot. And I know what that was like because I absorbed a lot for over 3 years. And so again, it's, I just want to give back and lift those kids up.
Awesome. That is fantastic. And, when you say you want to go in and just help a 6-year-old to breathe, and I know for some people this might be totally foreign to them, because if you're from a culture like mine where, it's either one extreme, seen and not heard, which I think was more my generation and beyond, older, like children were seen and not heard. So, you know, you really didn't have an opportunity to express so readily. And at the same time, on the other end of the spectrum, there are some children who they're kind of expected to grow up so fast because they are burdened with so many adult responsibilities that to hear you say you go in and you just help them to be creative and express themselves, that is amazing. That is wonderful. And that is very encouraging. And what's the best part about that for you, Laura? Because I know this is something that you enjoy.
Oh, the best part for me is that really it just is a heart connection to the inner child that's in me. When they show me what they've drawn, when they walk up and they say their name and they learn how to make eye contact and to be proud of who they are. I mean, these are just skills that I don't even know if it's skill. That's I don't even know if that's the word I want to use, but we take these things for granted and it's all part of being proud of who you are, saying your name and and showing what you created. And it just speaks to that child in me because I get it. They get to sit there and be a kid and let loose, and I really connect with them. And they come up to me and it's like, and I'll tell you, when I go into the classrooms, first of all, when I know the generation of seen and not be heard, well, you go in there, if I go in for this, they are all heard. They are all heard. They're so happy to have like a special, for the day, and I come in and I do my thing and they all want to be heard and they all want to be seen, and that just makes me so happy that they have that space to be both of those things. So really it connects completely with the inner child in me, that it's come full circle and I say, oh yeah, that's a really good picture. You did it, and we celebrate together.
That is awesome. Now, you've kind of answered this already, but I will ask it again. Is that you get a lot of joy, you get a lot of satisfaction out of working with the children. But can you just expand a little bit more of the impact that you feel that you have, or you recognize that you have made on these children's lives from their perspective?
Yeah, I have seen that, and I've seen it sometimes immediate in the fact that when I do walk in, I'm a stranger, and I'm an older stranger, and I come in and say, okay, this is what we're going to do today, and they're excited, but at the same time, they still have that little bit of, we're not sure about you, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And so there's that going in. And then as we start the breathing and we calm down and we just say, hey, let's just be, and let's just be. And I don't care if you're 6 or you're 60, sometimes that feels so good and you just are so happy to be still. So we actually start in stillness. And then we take it from there and we create together and we form this bond as a unit. And they see that I did not come in there to lead. I came in there to join. And it's when I walk out of there, and they're only like 45 minutes maybe, or an hour, because I'm working in a classroom environment. And I leave there and it's just, the energy is amazing. And I get the little ones, or can you come back tomorrow, can you come back tomorrow, and the thank you cards, and some of them very, very poignant, and they do share some things with me that I take to my heart, and I lift them in prayer. I lift those
Mhm.
children in prayer.
Yes, thank you. And I want to welcome everyone who has joined us today. Thank you for being here, Frank, Laura, Staley, and everyone else who is here. I'm reading the comments in the chat, and I just want to share a couple of those with you, Laura. Like Frank Zakari said, it's so important not to trivialize concerns of children. Every child needs to know they're seen, heard, accepted as they are.
Right. So true, Frank. So true. I'm working on it.
And sorry.
And I work with a ton of great teachers. I'm telling you, these teachers, they embrace the program. Um, I was emailing with a couple this morning, and they are just, when can you get here? So I do it in conjunction, and with their support.
Excellent. And Laura Staley said, important to affirm children. And she said, Laura, you are affirming, seeing, hearing, believing, valuing these children. So beautiful. I'm inspired by your passion and this conversation with Yvonne.
Hmm.
So, as parents, as adults, we are inspired so we can really appreciate these children. And I love what you just said. They see you not as a lead, as someone to take the lead, but kind of like they kind of see you as one of them because you come down to their level.
Yes. We, you know what it is? I don't even know if that's like come down to their level. We meet. We meet.
You
We
bring them
meet at the,
up.
we meet, yes, we meet. We are at that same level. And yeah, it's quite beautiful. And I am just grateful for, my spirit and my energy, that even though my inner child was incredibly traumatized, that I honor that and I use it as a way to reach children. I walk in and I think I'm 6-year-old Laura. Hey, What's going on? Let's color, you know? And you know what? And I just thought of this actually. In many ways, I get to have a better childhood by
Mhm.
being with these kids. And
That's
I
beautiful.
can't believe how emotional that just hit me. I get to color again and be happy. So it's just wow. Woo, did that hit me?
Wow. So what is one thing that the child has said to you that really got to your heart? That maybe something that you would have liked to say in your childhood, but something that just reached you. What is just one thing that you can think of, that whether it's in a card or face to
Mm-hmm.
face?
Yeah.
And this really gets to me too. You're emotionally moved, and so all of us, because sometimes we forget the children. Like I watched a movie over the weekend, and the character said to the little girl's mother, "You have to remember she's 8, not 28," because the mother was saying, "Oh, she was taking this whole thing in stride." So the main character said, "You have to remember your child is 8, not 28."
Right.
So what has a child said to you that just really touched your heart that you can think of?
Well, there's two off the top of my head. Is this one little boy, as I was getting ready to leave, it was so cute. He said, "Can you come back tomorrow? It was fun." And so that really touched my heart because, of course, I wanted to say, "Heck yeah, I'll be back." But and the other one is where where I'm asked, and this was teenagers. I was asked if I would share, go into a little detail about my story. I normally don't share with the kids. I just come in and we do our activities and, etc. But I was asked in this specific case and to go into it. And I remember seeing a lot of nods, a lot of faces looking away in their own shame and
Mhm.
secret. And the teacher had asked them afterwards, to send me or write me a note, and she would mail them off together. And I got one from a particular young girl, and you know what? If you would have asked me, gee, which one do you think it was? I could have picked her out because of her face as I was sharing my story and my pain. And we instantly connected, and she just said, "Thank you so much for being brave. I now know I'm not alone, and I look at you and I have hope for my future." So I was like, yeah, I mean, woo,
Yeah,
very powerful,
that is
very,
powerful.
very, very powerful. And that's one girl. And if she's the only girl or the only young person that I was able to impact, well, that's one more than if I was home on my couch. So,
Mhm. Oh, Laura, this has been really powerful. This has been powerful. And I hope that it has also brought an awareness to, or, many in our listening audience that, we really have to give children the attention and take the time to find out what's going on with them. We just can't assume that because they're laughing and and they look happy that
right,
everything is going. They need to know that we're there because, as you said, you didn't feel like you had anyone who would stand up for you. And in your mind, everybody knew what was going on, but nobody was doing anything about it. But, and nobody took the time to find out, were you okay? So this is really, like, I hope, an eye opener for all of us, whether we're parents, grandparents, to take the time and really spend time with children to find out what's going on in their little hearts and their little minds.
yeah. Ask and don't assume.
Don't
You know,
assume, ask.
how are
Absolutely.
you? I see you, I believe you, I hear you, because the fear and the uncertainty of what's going on around us is definitely being absorbed by them. So,
Absolutely. And as Laura just said, Laura Staley said, you are saving lives. That's what you're
ah,
doing. You're helping to save lives. So, Laura, I thank you. I
thank you.
appreciate you. Thank you for being
Thank
here
you so
today.
much. Thank you.
You're very welcome. And now for anyone who wants to get in touch with you, how can they do so?
Well, I'm on Facebook, obviously, but also my website is ipride.net. So www.i, the letter ipride.net. That would be the best way. There's a contact form on there.
Okay, great. And I just typed that in the chat. Perfect.
Thank you.
All right. So thank you so much for being here, Laura.
Thank
You're an
you.
awesome
I really
guest.
do appreciate it.
It's my delight, my pleasure. And everyone, if you're watching this in the future, please go ahead and type in #replay. We thank you for being here live, and we look for, you can always find this on YouTube in a few days, and we look forward to seeing you again next time.
Thank you.
Welcome, Laura. Bye-bye.